First of all, thank you for taking some time out in the middle of the day to come on down to Black Rock and help us celebrate the opening of our primary campaign headquarters. We actually have a ribbon here and a scissors somewhere. We'll see what we can do with that. But I figure I'd just get some of the initial comments out of the way, because everyone sort of has the same question. Why Bridgeport? Well, it's really sort of a three-prong reason. First and foremost, I've been in Bridgeport for years. I've been working in this town since 15 years ago with a not-for-profit that I started when I was playing semi-pro football. We've expanded that to a group, the Southwest Connecticut Grizzlies, whose coach was just here. It's been an ongoing effort for more than a decade to try and get kids to improve their lives, to work hard at life as they do at sports. So we've taken that model from youth football. Now we've created a college football model that's actually getting young men off the streets and back into college in order to pursue a better life for themselves. So I've been doing that for 15 years. I've been here before I ran for office. I'll be in this town doing the same work after I'm out of public office. So working out of here in Bridgeport is not only not unusual for me, it's something I'm proud to do, and I'm glad we were able to post up right here. Secondly, I have family in Bridgeport. My sister lives up in the north end of town. She's been here for years. My wife's family, the Bullard family, used to run a big machine tool factory right up the street here in Bullard Square. They used to live on Park Avenue for years and years. Now most of them are in Branford. So being in Bridgeport is not unusual for me because I have family here, and B, it's also similar in a lot of ways to some of the neighborhoods I grew up when I was a kid in Brooklyn, New York. I understand the complexity and the diversity of this community as the same communities I grew up with down in New York City, down in Brooklyn. But lastly, and probably more importantly, one of the reasons I wanted to put this office here in Bridgeport is because Bridgeport is a prime example of the central thesis of my campaign. We do not manage our resources properly. We are a state that sends almost the most per capita down to the federal government, gets back almost the least on our rate of return, and here we have failing schools, hospitals being cut, school budgets getting cut, infrastructure that doesn't work. And we're getting our own dollars back at a discount for what? For local purposes. We have the federal government send us back 60-something cents on the dollar historically, which puts us at the bottom of the rate of return list, and then telling us how to spend our own money. Telling us how to spend our own money on local issues. Which cops to hire? How many firemen can you hire? Can you build a road? Can we put up a street sign? I mean, I've been a state rep up in Hartford for the last 6 years, representing Reading, Easton, and Weston. And the primary example that just blew my mind came up about maybe 5 months ago. We're changing the laws in the Judiciary Committee about fines and whatnot, people who hit pedestrians. We couldn't change the laws in the state of Connecticut because it could have put our safe sidewalk funds from the federal government at risk. We can't cross the street in the state of Connecticut without worrying about how much of our own money we might get back from a federal government that doesn't answer to us. That is the wrong way to manage your resources. That is not the way we're going to improve people's lives, and that's one of the reasons that the promise and prosperity that was the central theme of this state 20-something years ago is slowly bleeding out of this state. We can return promise and prosperity to this county and to this state because guess what? We still have the resources to do it. We just haven't had the management to do it. I got a federal government that bleeds us dry. We got a state government that's done a bad job managing what's left. So between the two, the reason I left the State House and I'm running for Congress is to try and improve that relationship, to try and improve that. It's not sexy stuff, but it's important stuff. What did we just hear yesterday? The schools, Judge McCousher just issued a 90-page decision panning the way the state of Connecticut is funding and managing its schools. That's going to hit this town. That could either help or hurt this town, but we don't know. But at the same time, when we're passing school budgets up in Hartford or school funding up in Hartford, a large part of that income stream is federal grants. I love it. You call it a grant. I give you $1, you give me 60 cents back, and then want to get congratulated for giving me some of my own money back. Schools are too important to be managed and funded by the federal government. That is a state job. That is a local job. It's the same. We have the same issue repeating with environmental programs. We have the same issue repeating with programs to help the needy. Here we are, the richest state per capita, and what have we seen in the last 6 months? State deficits, hospitals being cut, school budgets getting cut, we're cutting environmental programs. We can't fund the stuff we need to fund because we're not managing our resources properly. And our federal contingent, you got 5 congressmen and 2 senators, they're not even in the room down in D.C. when the folks who are deciding how much of our own money we might get back is being decided. They're not even in the room. That's got to change. Because I don't care if it's a Republican Congress or Democratic Congress, if someone is bleeding off our resources and it's hurting our state, they're going to hear from me. They're going to hear from me. So, lastly, sort of a central theme, another reason why, I talk about football stuff a lot because that's who I am. I'm an old semi-pro player. I'm a football coach, and the not-for-profits I run here at Bridgeport are centered around athletics because I'm a team guy. And that's something that we've lacked in the state, and our federal delegation lacked the concept of team. This isn't Democrats versus Republicans. This is this team, this people of the state of Connecticut that need to work together and put people above politics. That's what I've done in Hartford for the last 6 years. That's what I've been doing before I was in Hartford for the years before that. That's what I'm going to continue to do, whether it's in D.C. or anywhere else. We got to start managing our lives like a team, work together, and try and make things better, because we can. We're lucky enough to have the resources to do it. We just need to have the leadership to be able to do it, and we haven't had it. So that's why I'm running. That's why we're opening up this office. We're going to have some debates. We're going to have all kinds of fun. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but if you do, fire away. Now's your time.
What do you think you might be able to do to help improve the transportation situation in our state?
Yeah, that's a real good question, especially now. I was down at a rally yesterday talking about the reconstruction of the Walk Bridge in Norwalk and how that's all being managed. I mean, one of the thanks for the question. One of the primary issues that's popped up in the last 6 years, transportation-wise, that I saw in Hartford that triggered this run was how we had, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, we had over $500 million coming from the federal government to build a busway. $500 million. Come in the state of Connecticut, put it where you want. The New Britain to Hartford busway. Where did it go? It went from a town that doesn't have a whole lot of jobs to a town that doesn't have a whole lot of jobs to give. If I'm in Congress, someone's going to hear from me. That $600 million should have been spent down here connecting Bridgeport to Stamford, or something in between. That $500 million was misspent resources that did not improve and could have improved the transportation infrastructure in this county. This county is the cash machine for Hartford, is the cash machine, one of the cash machines for D.C. And here, what happened? $600 million comes back, and because of the way the federal government told us how we have to spend that money, our own money coming back at a discount, we got a busway that it sits half empty all the time. Don't believe the stat numbers you read in the paper, because they're cooking the books on that one. We know they are. That infrastructure improvement should happen down here. And that's the kind, I mean, if we have someone who's going to be a champion for our district, which we have not had, the guy we have down there is a nice guy, he's a smart guy, but he's really sort of a done-nothing, do-nothing kind of guy. If I'm down there, again, I'm sitting on someone's lap or putting them in a headlock saying, wait a second, that $500 million, it's got to get spent down here. Guess what? That's where it came from, and this is where it's needed, and this is where the jobs are, and this is where this thing is going to mushroom and actually improve the lives of everybody, especially here in Bridgeport. I hope that answered your question.
Thanks.
So, any other thoughts or questions? Thoughts or questions? Well, listen, everybody, thank you for coming. Hold on. I think we actually have a ribbon and sit. This is fancy stuff. Does everyone have that? Okay, that ribbon is embarrassing. All right, get out
But
of
it's
here.
red.
We're not cutting. Do you really want me to cut? Okay.
I want you to cut the ribbon.
We're cutting the ribbon.
Official.
Come help me.
Go ahead.
Looks like you need help.
Yeah, that's right. Could someone hold this? This is too heavy. And we're off. Thank you, everybody. Stick around. Let's have a chat. We have some food, and we'll talk again.